Hi, it's Brent from PUJÉ Trumpets, and welcome to a new series, Product Review, from my YouTube channel. It's a resource for you to find out more about my horns, my mouthpieces, or any of my products. So let's get started with a brand new product in its prototype phase, the PUJÉ. I'm on version 4, also abbreviated as V4. Of course, this started out with version 1, and due to parts availability and just changing prices and things like that, as I make major changes in horns, I change the version, and this one happens to be version 4. As you've noticed with some of my other horns, there's been V2s, V3s, and that's not a model, that's just the version of the model, and you'll see that periodically as I have to make changes. So to start off, let's look at the valves on this. These are made by the Hokusangaki Corporation specifically for me. And I know some of you are thinking, well, that's just Carroll Brass. And to a degree, that's true. Hokusangaki is the parent company of Carroll Brass. And these valves are made specifically for me. So that's why I call them Hokusangaki valves. I work directly with Welly Lee to develop valves to my specific needs and my exact specifications. In this case, these are 460 bore in inches, which is 11.7 millimeters. And they have nickel inners, nickel outers, no cut lines for a nice smooth modern look. The trim kit I spec'd to match some of my other designs, and I feel like it gives a nice place to put inlays as well. It's a very modern looking horn that way. And these are dumortierite, which is very similar to lapis. The light in here is not so good. It's a little brighter, but it still has gold flecks just like the lapis stones do. And I have a lot of different inlays available. This horn doesn't come with inlays. It's an upgrade you can add on. I try to keep the PUJÉ as my base model, and so if you don't want any frills, then it keeps things inexpensive for you. But if you want custom rings or inlays or engraving, you're welcome to add that on to this model. After that, let's look at the receiver, which is my own design. And I designed it deeper than your standard receiver, and I think that gives a more solid connection to the shank of the mouthpiece. And it's designed to fit any trumpet mouthpiece. Well, I should say any that I've tried so far fit in my receiver. There's one. We all know that one. Here's your standard Bach piece. And here's a mouthpiece by Wedge with an Austin custom brass backbore. But finally, the reason I went to the extra time and effort to have my own receiver is it looks nice with my mouthpieces. I designed it so that it mates right up and gives that nice seamless look between the mouthpiece and the receiver. The receiver's heavier, the mouthpiece is heavier. I think that translates to a more efficient approach. After the receiver, you have the mouth pipe itself, which is in gold brass. It's my number 2 pipe. I've been using this pipe since I started building horns, and it's a trumpet mouth pipe, but it's not like your standard taper. It gives a more open and diffused sound. Coupled with that, it's a reverse design. And unlike a lot of reverse designs, it's not just a straight inner tube that's been soldered on to the end of a taper. The taper continues well into the straight piece of the inner tubing, and then that allows me to have a longer lead pipe on a shorter horn. The crook I've chosen for this model is a semi-round crook with a Lee's key on it. That is also by Hokusangaki. And I like these keys because you can service them easily by just unscrewing this back piece. The spring will come out, the piston will come out, you can clean it in there, you can reassemble it, put fresh grease in there. Nobody likes taking apart those little C-clips, so that's why I offered this model of a motto style key on my horns. I've also designed a new crook that may or may not come with this horn. As it's a prototype horn, I've designed it, tested it. This horn's going to Austin Custom Brass, so I may include 2 crooks and see what Trent thinks of it. And it's a more square. I've made it out of lighter weight tubing, and it's a smaller bore than the other. So I call it my SSL for small, square, light. And it adds a little bit of a brighter tone to this horn, which may or may not be desirable. So that's why I play around with things like this. Some people want maybe a brighter sound, and how can I get that? Well, you can get it a couple ways, and one of them is with a change in the crook. Moving on to maybe the best feature of this horn, it's a one-piece hand-hammered gold brass bell by Canstel. Now I have these bells in copper, gold brass, and yellow brass, and Canstel has been out of business for 2 years now, but I bought a huge supply of these bells from them when they closed their factory, and so I have enough for probably 2 or 3 years of this model like this before I'll have to move on to a V5. And I've already got plans for which bell I'm going to replace these with once I've used them all up. But this offers a super value in this horn because of the excellent price I got when I bought 4 giant boxes of bells, including straight bells and some pre-bent bells like this bell off the number 3 mandrel I was using already. It was bent to Canstel's specifications, not mine, so I had to redesign the horn, and I was able to incorporate their bend into my design. This is almost exactly like a horn I built for John Eric Kelso years ago in the bend and some other features too with the Hokusangaki valves. And so I brought back that design and worked on it a little bit, and I'm happy with the results now, and I'm finishing up the prototype stage, and it's going to go into production soon. The finish on this is actually factory patina, as these bells probably sat for years and years at the Canstel factory getting this dark patina. Of course, when I do some of the work, the solder work, I have to clean up around where it's oxidized, otherwise the solder won't stick. But I tried to blend those in and leave some of the darker areas of patina. I'm going to try to do that on a lot of horns unless you want them fully polished. I polished up the inside of the bell just a bit to see how it looked on this horn. We'll just see how it goes in the future with that. But this horn, aside from a little bit of cleanup, is ready for my new ceramic nano coating that I've been using lately. I'm still in the trial stages of that, but I've been impressed so far with what's happened. And any amount of coverage on a raw brass horn is better than none. It stops the oxidation process, protects it from water spots. And so far I'm pleased. And durability, I don't know how long it's going to last, but that's something we'll see in the future. And right now I'm not charging any extra for the nano coating process. So you're trying it out along with me. This horn is being sent to Austin Custom Brass soon, where it'll be for sale. I'll also have these horns for sale once they go into production. So check out Austin Custom Brass's website, the YouTube channel, as Trent will also be doing a video on this horn once he gets it, and it'll be for sale through them. You can also order your own custom version with your choice of yellow brass, copper, yellow brass, yellow brass, copper, or gold brass. And the prices will be announced on my website soon. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something about the PUJÉ version 4.